Hey everybody, let me introduce you to my dogs, which you've probably seen in some of the earlier videos scampering past. This is Max and this is Lana. Dogs who love to dig holes in the middle of my flower beds and are my primary teachers in just accepting that there are certain things you cannot control in life. So it's been a really weird time here. We've had huge fluctuations in temperature, 23 degrees, and then a few days later, -3 in snow. And we'll just have to wait and see what the impact is on our plum tree and on our cherry tree because they were in full blossom. So we'll have to see whether they still produce fruit. Luckily, the apple tree wasn't in full blossom. So we'll see how they go. But yeah, it's been a weird time. And for us humans too. I've just felt totally knocked out and rubbish. But I've still had some time over the past month to film some snippets of planting plants, especially some big plants, because early spring is a good time to be planting, in this case, a mulberry tree and a grapevine. Today I'm planting a grapevine. It's called AMPELIA Perdin. It's a French variety, a golden green grape, and apparently it's disease resistant, which is a good thing because I don't like using lots of products to keep plants healthy. I'm planting it up against a wall, nice sheltered sunny spot. If you were growing grapes for wine, they use a post and wire system. But if you're in a garden, against a wall is a good place for a grapevine to be. You've got somewhere where you can trail it up and support it. I've been soaking this grapevine for half an hour in water before planting. I've dug a really big hole here, 50 centimeters deep, 50 centimeters wide. I put a little bit of manure in the bottom. I'm going to put some fertilizer pellets, just a general universal fertilizer. Gently get that out. Got a nice root system. Okay, I'm gonna hold that because I want it to be where I want this to be level with the soil. So I'm gonna hold that and just put in the soil around it. So now I filled it up quite a bit. And I'm going to add some more manure. The important thing is just to make sure you don't have the manure touching the roots directly. You don't want to burn the roots with the strong manure, even though it's manure that's been decayed a year. So I'm just going to add it around the perimeter of where I've planted. The vine. You see where I am, sort of halfway down France, it's warm enough to plant outside. If you were in the UK, you'd probably want to plant it in a greenhouse. If you were further south, you could plant this during winter, but I'm planting it in early spring because we do get cold winters here. And there you go, you got a planted grapevine. And in terms of maintenance and care, in the first year, you want to water it and water it and water it. Really give it loads of water so that it can establish itself in the soil and not get stressed. And then in the wintertime is when you would hard prune your grapevine when it's dormant. And then in 3 years' time, you'll be ready to start harvesting the fruit. Today, we are going to plant a black mulberry tree. Super exciting. It's not very often that we plant a tree in the garden. But we were given this as a gift, and the great thing about mulberries is it's something that you don't find easily in shops. So we're gonna have this lovely berry. It's like a blackberry, kind of longer, and the black mulberry, as opposed to the white mulberry, produces a wonderfully sweet, delicious fruit. What do you need to know about planting a black mulberry tree? Well, you need a nice open sunny spot, which is what this site is. You need to have a stake, and you need to have something to tie your stake to your tree, and I've got a pair of old tights which will work just fine. So we've dug a hole that's super deep, double the depth of the pot and double the width of the pot. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some of the soil we've dug out and mix it with some manure, some well-rotted manure. And this is gonna act as some nice nourishing food for the black mulberry tree. So in goes the well-rotted manure. In goes the soil. Now we don't want to fill it up too much because we need room for the tree. I'm just gonna give it a good mix. So now I'm gonna carefully take the tree out of the pot. Free up some of those roots. All right, put it in. Whew. My neighbor has a beautiful black mulberry tree in her garden, which is super happy. So I know it's going to be happy here. Right, so that's got the tree planted. Now what's left to do is to stake the tree. So I've got my stake. I want to have it on an angle, and I want to have it reaching the tree about a third of the way up the tree. All right, and I'm using an old pair of tights that had a hole in them. They're nice and stretchy. They'll add some padding. It's super important to really water your tree in well once you've planted it, and regularly water it, especially in its first year while it's establishing itself. So that's the tree planted and staked. Super exciting. In about 4 to 5 years time, we'll be able to harvest the fruit. And we've planted it here. It's a nice sunny open spot. But we've also planted it here specifically because in the summertime, this area becomes super hot and there's no shade anywhere. So this is a lovely tree that spreads, and it's going to give us a wonderful space underneath a shaded spot where we can bring a table and chairs in the summertime and eat under a tree. How lovely. Cool. The spider has already taken up residence on our new mulberry tree.